Hey everybody, so this is Derrin. A lot of you know me, a lot of you don't, but I'm a personal injury attorney. I've been sworn in, actually I was sworn in 2012, so I'm actually approaching my 10-year anniversary of practicing law, and I figure it's about time, given that I've seen a lot and have done a lot in those 10 years, that I share some knowledge with you guys, because I think a lot of people could benefit from having a lot of areas of personal injury explained to them. So, with that said, let's get right to it. So, as a personal injury lawyer, I find myself having to explain my clients' insurance policies to them, okay? Because a lot of people don't understand, exactly how insurance policies work, how they break down, and ultimately the coverages that are afforded to them, okay? Also, a lot of people don't understand how if you're hit by someone with a very small or minimum policy, that you might find yourself in a situation with massive medical bills, massive lost wages, but looking at a recovery of seven, eight, $9,000 when you've been out of work for a year and you owe another $40,000 in medical bills and may need surgery in the future. Okay, so I want to start off with the two basic types of car insurance today. Okay, there's liability insurance and your own insurance or uninsured motorist coverage or underinsured. I'll explain the difference a little later on. Okay, so liability coverage. What is it? Liability coverage is the kind of insurance that covers you if you negligently hit somebody, right? So if you're driving and you drop your phone on the ground, and rather than be a good Samaritan and pull your car over and look for your phone, you look down under your seat and, unbeknownst to you, you look up and bam, you hit a pedestrian, okay? Or even better, you rear end a car, okay? So clearly there's no question as to who's at fault, right? It was you, because you shouldn't be rummaging through your car for your phone when you should be keeping your eyes on the road at all times. So you hit the person in front of you. Your car insurance company will come in and they will cover you for the damages that you caused. So in the event that you rear end somebody, that would be the physical damage to that other person's car, as well as their bodily injury and their property damage. I've had cases where, I've had clients of mine who were rear-ended, and one guy was a DJ, had several $1,000 in DJ equipment in the back of his trunk that was destroyed, so we had to make a claim for that, okay? So what happens, I think what a lot of people don't understand is that, in Rhode Island, you only have to have the bare minimum of $25,000 in insurance per person and $50,000 per event for coverage. So what does that mean? So that means that you buy a policy that says that we, the insurance company, will insure you and cover you if you're negligent, okay, up to $50,000 per event. So if you injure, one person in that accident, or you injure 10 people in that accident, the $50,000 is all that your insurance company is going to cover. Okay, so you better hope that your insurance company can settle the case within that $50,000. Okay, so if you hit a minivan with 8 people in it, you have 8 people going after $50,000, right? And a lot of people think, oh, okay, well, what do I care, right? Because if I hit somebody, well, so be it. Let them deal with my insurance company. But the shoe can be on the other foot. Same token, if you're in a car and you have, 5 friends with you or 4 friends with you, and you guys are hit rear-ended, you all have to fight amongst yourselves for that $50,000 pot, and it can get very dicey very fast. Okay, so it's a double-edged sword. Massachusetts is even worse. In Massachusetts, you can drive around with a minimum policy of $20,000 per person and $40,000 per accident. And actually, what I should clarify, when I say per accident, when I say per person, what I'm really talking about is that in no event can any one person recover more than $25,000 in Rhode Island, which is the minimum, or $20,000 in Massachusetts. So what that means is, in my example before, if you hit somebody, a car full of, with 5 people, and 4 out of the 5 walk away, they go to the urgent care, they're all done, they have bills of a couple $100. But one of the people just had back surgery the day before and had rods put in. And now they have to go back for more surgery and have the rods taken out. And there's a complication. And they're in the hospital for like a month, right? And they have, $500,000 in medical bills. That person, well, your insurance company still only is contractually obligated to pay that person the $25,000. So in that case, theoretically, your insurance company could pay the $25,000 to the person whose back you just, destroyed all over again, and then could settle with the other four passengers for $1,000 each, and really only end up paying $29,000. Okay, but that's really not a good reason to get the lowest coverage, and I'm gonna tell you why. Just as I said earlier, if the shoe's on the other foot and you and four of your friends are in the same car, you're driving and you guys get rear-ended by someone with that little teeny policy, you will have to fight for that $50,000 pot, and you're capped at most at $25,000 unless you have an additional kind of coverage on your own car, which is called underinsured coverage. Okay? Now, uninsured or underinsured. So, what's the difference? Okay. So, underinsured coverage covers people, or covers you in an accident in the event that the person who hit you does not have enough insurance to cover you for the accident, right? So, like I said, if you're the person who just had back surgery the day before, you're feeling good, and then bam, you hit from behind again, you're back to square one, getting more surgery. In addition to, getting or being able to make a claim against the person who hurt you, you would also be able to make a claim against the insurance company for the car you're inside of. Okay? And now that coverage could be, again, $25,000, could be $100,000. It could be $250,000, it could be $1 million. It's whatever the policy is on that car. So that's why, a lot of people are just drawn to getting the lowest policy, but what they don't realize is that in return, they have $25,000 in liability coverage, but then they also have $25,000 in underinsured coverage. And trust me, if you're looking into your own insurance coverage, it's bad. That means that things did not go well, there's not enough money, or you are very hurt, okay? So you want to make sure you have the right coverages. So, again, if you have, $500,000 in coverage for yourself, then you're covered. You will be able to collect that $25,000 from the at-fault person and then make a claim against your own insurance company, okay? Now, that's underinsured coverage. There's a third kind of coverage, okay, which is called uninsured motorist coverage, which is essentially insurance for when the person who hits you doesn't have insurance at all, right? They just are driving around without insurance, or their policy lapsed, or there's some sort of policy violation. They're a driver who's not supposed to be driving the car, or the car's stolen, or whatever. There's a laundry list of reasons that insurance companies will come up with, or can come up with, to deny coverage, okay? And if that happens, and you're forced to look at your own insurance company, again, you don't want to be in a situation where you were lured in by the cheapest policy, okay? So in that situation, that's why I always tell people, yes, obviously you want to make sure you cover your own liability, but really you're buying insurance for yourself, okay? And then another, sort of sale or arrangement that insurance companies can do a lot of times is they can, in Rhode Island, you can actually waive underinsured motorist coverage. All right, so now something really funny can happen when you go through your own insurance company, and this is another interesting example that I tell people. So again, let's say you're in a car, four of your friends, you guys get hit from behind, the joker who hit you doesn't have insurance, okay? So now you have to look within to your own insurance company to cover you. Let's say you have 50,100 coverage, which means that, 50,000 per person. So no one person can ever get more than $50,000, and there's a $100,000 pot, right, in total that you guys have to fight amongst. So, well, you're in an accident, and let's say that you don't like the four people in the other car. You guys have a falling out, unrelated to the accident, but you find out that they're jerks, whatever, right? Well, you still have to fight with them, well, strike that. All 5 of you have equal access to the same $100,000 pot. So you may find yourself literally fighting with your, former friends over that $100,000, pot to get your cut. Again, capped at the $50,000. And just because it's your insurance company, you do not get priority. No, no, no. They are and the word's called in privy, or they are, in privy, or they have just as much a right to make a claim to that pot as you do. Okay, you don't get priority. All right. So again, and also you can't call your insurance company and say, "Oh, I don't like them. I don't want you to cover them." All right. No, it's not what happened. You can't do that. Okay. So again, I always joke with people, kind of, my friends will tell you this, but if they want to drive, I ask them, I say, how much are your insurance limits? And the reason being that, if you're driving around with the lowest policy, like, I want to make sure that I'm covered, right? So, I have high limits personally, or what I feel are pretty high limits. So come in my car, because, if we're in an accident, plenty of money to go around. But I don't want to ride around with you and your $25,000, $50,000 cap, because if you and I are messed up, or if there's 3 of us or 4 of us in the car, now we all have to fight over that, right? But there is another layer here too, okay? So within your own insurance company, right, your own insurance policy, this underinsured coverage, okay, and uninsured coverage. If, let's say that you're in a car with your friend's driving, it's his car, there's 5 of you in the car, you guys get hit, the guy who hits you flees the scene, so clearly there's no insurance on an unknown, or what's called a phantom vehicle that flees the scene, right? And you come to find out your buddy who offered to drive you guys out that night let his insurance lapse. So he didn't pay his premiums. He has no insurance on his car, right? Tough situation. But don't fret, because you can actually look to your own insurance company for the cars in your name to cover you. So again, thank God you have a high limit. Now in that case, you would only be able to make a claim with your insurance company. The other passengers in your friend's car cannot say, "Oh, well, Derrin has insurance at his house on a car he owns, so let's all go through his insurance because, we were in the car with him." No, it doesn't work that way. They could also look to their own insurance companies if they own cars, right? Or if they live with someone, like a family member or blood relative who has a car, to see if they can find coverage within their own insurance company at home, right, for a car that they own personally, okay? So, end of the day, moral of the story is this. Don't just buy the cheapest insurance you can find, because I got to tell you, it's like a fire department, right? Like, it's all fine and dandy until people make cuts, right? And then, oh, well, I don't, my house is going to catch fire. I have sprinklers. But if you find yourself looking, if your house is on fire and you find out that the nearest firehouse is 20 minutes away, your house is kind of done, right? Same thing with insurance, right? You can buy the cheapest insurance, but, when it comes time to looking within and looking to your own insurance company for coverage, you may find that you bought the cheapest stuff and it basically does not give you any of the coverages that you want, okay? So I hope this helps. I hope you guys enjoyed the podcast or episode or whatever we'll call it. I'll try to put more out. If you guys have any questions, leave some comments here. And I'll try to answer any questions you guys may have. You can email me, DerrinAlmadaESQ@gmail.com. And hope you guys enjoyed. Have a great day. Be safe. Be well.